Welcome in, everyone. This is Sean with MTG808 Jr., and today we're going to be taking a look at the Blue Green Aggro deck that Tegan piloted to second place 2 weeks ago, or 2 weekends ago, at our West Side tournament. However, before we jump into that, just want to make sure everyone knows about our upcoming Youth Championship Scholarship Tournament. We have set a date for it. It is May 12th, and it's going to be at Dirtle Zone, which is a local card shop here in Aiea. It's going to be $5 to enter, so more than the $1 entry fee for our usual tournaments, but we will be giving away $750 in scholarship prizes, $500 first and $250 second. So make sure you stay tuned to our YouTube channel and our Facebook page to find out more information about this tournament, how you can support us, and speaking of supporting us, if you want to support tournaments like this where we're able to give away scholarship prizes to the youth of the Magic community, please consider becoming a Patreon subscriber. You can decide how much you want to donate a month, and all of the proceeds directly go to helping support the program and what we do. All right, so today we are looking at Tegan's second place deck. This is Tegan holding up her second place prizes. She did lose to Naya playing Red Blue Pirates in the finals, but she came in second place with a very unique list. We haven't seen anyone try Blue Green Aggro outside of Merfolk, so this is, she calls it the deck The Hour, because most of the cards in the deck are from Hour of Devastation, so it is aptly named, but she's kind of using this philosophy of finding the best one-drops and building around them. And we have seen Kyle and Troy, twins over here, they placed first and third in our most recent Youth Standard Pauper tournament over at Planet, and they were playing decks that were also very focused on one-drops. So we've built many decks in the past that have been focusing on one-drops. Oh, not that one. That have been focusing on one-drop creatures. But today we want to really experiment with how we can push curves lower and lower to kind of take advantage of the tempo game, right? These decks are all trying to win on tempo by making sure that they're spending their mana every turn, really backing up their early one-drop creatures that aren't that powerful on their own, but can punch through with some help. So all of these decks kind of have that in common, and we're going to focus on that today. So, Tegan's got Frilled Sandwalla here, probably she said it was her favorite card in the deck, and it is a very powerful one-drop that hasn't really seen any play before Tegan took it to her second place finish. So she correctly identified this card is very powerful, built an aggro deck around it, and she has some goodies. So besides Frilled Sandwaller, she's got Slitherblade, a longtime favorite of Blue aggro deck players. We've been playing quite a few Slitherblades. I love playing blue. And then in the 2-drop slot, Ronus' Stalwart, 2/2, can exert into a 3/3 that can't be blocked by creatures with power 2 or less, so it's able to push damage through. Same with Spellweaver Eternal, 2 mana, 2/1 with Prowess and Afflict 2. So this guy grows bigger. If they want to block it, they have to lose 2 life. If they're at 2 life, there's nothing they can do to prevent this unless they can't block to prevent dying. And then in the 3-drop slot for creatures, she's got Aerial Guide, 3 mana, 2/2. When it attacks, another attacking creature gains flying until end of turn. So lots of heavy hitters, and then takes them to the air with Aerial Guide. Harrier Naga, 3 mana, 3/3, not the most exciting creature, but she said she chose to play 3 copies of this and only 1 copy of Hooded Brawler because Hooded Brawler dies to Shock and Magma Spray and Moment of Craving. So a very fine call. Hooded Brawler definitely is more powerful in combat, or potentially more powerful in combat when you exert it, but Harrier Naga is definitely going to be more solid more of the time. She's also got Renegade Freighter, very powerful vehicle. I'm surprised we haven't seen as much Renegade Freighter success as I might expect. When the format first started, I kind of pinned this card as being one of the most important cards in the format. Turns out Hone Kopesh was actually one of the most important cards in the format. But Tegan is playing 2 Renegade Freighters, so very solid creature count, or creature package, and then tons of ways to kind of push through damage. Unsummon gets creatures off of the board, Shed Weakness can help you win in combat, Hone Kopesh helps you win over the long game if you want to consistently attack with your creatures, past their creatures, Cartouche of Knowledge, gives your creatures a buff, takes to the air, replaces itself, all around great card. Gift of Strength helps you win in combat some more, right? Two mana for +3/+3 is a huge difference. Your creatures are going to be trading up all the time. This is one of the ways that this deck gets away with such a low curve, because even if your opponent is spending their mana on more expensive creatures, you can still punch through with the likes of Gift of Strength or Unsummon. She's got a couple interesting one-ofs here: Cancel, Negate, Ambuscade. I like Ambuscade potentially in the main deck. It does cost 3 mana, so that's a knock against it, but Cancel is a little slow in the main deck, especially since this deck doesn't really want to be leaving mana open all the time. And then Negate, same thing. When Negate is good, it's great. When it's not, it's just sitting in your hand doing nothing. So, and if your opponent thinks you have a Negate, then it loses a lot of its value because they can play their worst spells first. So if you are going to play a Negate, you should only play one in the main deck. Otherwise, it's a sideboard card. But this is her deck. Very focused on pushing damage through, just playing very solid creatures, pushing damage through. We're going to tweak it a little bit today. And what I want to make it clear that when I'm making suggestions for decks, or when I'm, providing my version of archetypes that the kids are coming up with, it's not necessarily to say that this is better. It's think of it more as a science experiment, right? I have these guiding principles that I think are best and that I want to try out, and the only way that I'm going to find out if those guiding principles are wrong is if I build those decks and then find a flaw in them. So yeah, when I'm putting forth my version of the deck, it's not necessarily better, it's just a different way of building it that kind of focuses on different areas. So as I said, today we're going to try to focus on lowering the curve, because as I said, with the pump spells and the cheap interaction, the deck can kind of trade up on the curve, so we want to see how low we can get the curve. So this is my version of the deck. There will be a link to this version in the description, but basically we are playing a lot more one mana spells and fewer 3 mana spells, so just kind of dropping the curve a little bit. One addition to the deck, I did choose to add Kujar Seed Sculptor to the deck. I think it's a very fine addition. The deck does just want to push damage through either with evasive creatures or with creatures that are going to be just bigger than the opponents, right? So pumping up Frilled Sandwalla, very good card. So I'm curious to see how it does. Again, it's just in an effort to lower the curve. The 3 drops in the deck were great, but we are just trying to see how low we can get the curve here and see if that tempo will pay off. Yeah, so we cut Renegade Freighter. It's good, but it cuts into the creature count. It doesn't wear Hone Kopesh. It might. I'm curious to see how Harrier Naga holds up. These might want to change to Renegade Freighters. Playing only 2 Aerial Guides and 3 Cartouche of Knowledge. Cartouche of Knowledge is so good because it pumps the creature and you get to draw another card to help kind of dig through your deck. Playing the full force Shed Weakness. This spell is just so efficient. It'll really help push our damage through with Spellweaver Eternal and Ronus' Stalwart, right? Our flying creatures. Yeah, so this is my version of the deck. Still just 20 lands, and got some more cards here in the sideboard. Cancel is very good against slow decks. Same with Unsummon. We want to max out. If you're playing against another deck that is playing combat tricks, then these might be of interest to you. If you're playing against a deck that is really focused on just playing the same size creatures as you, making the same size creatures a little bit bigger is one way to win. And then Ambuscade is just a removal spell here. Helps pump up our creatures. Yeah, so that is our version of Blue Green Aggro, just really trying to push that mana cost down, play our 1-drops, right? Oh, I forgot to mention we're playing Mistcloaked Herald here. Just 2 copies, just to try to maximize the 1-drops. One interaction with Frilled Sandwalla that I do want to highlight, if you do decide to pick up this deck, the ability on Frilled Sandwalla, you can activate it as an instant. Yes, you can only use it once a turn, but you can use it at whatever point in the turn that you want to. So usually the best time to activate it is at the last possible moment. You want to leave yourself flexible to make decisions for as long as possible. So you don't commit your mana to pumping up Frilled Sandwalla until all other decisions have been made. Most notably, how your opponent is going to block. So for example, if you attack with a Frilled Sandwalla into your opponent's 2/2, right, and they're tapped out, they can't do anything to affect combat, they have to take it even if you do not pump the creature. So if they do block, then you get to spend your 2 mana to trade with their 2 mana and a spell. Right? You get to keep your spell, but you're spending your 2 mana to get their 2 mana and a creature card. Right? So they just cannot block in that decision without making a terrible trade. So usually, one play that might come up often is you attack your Frilled Sandwalla into their 2-drop, they choose not to block, you get a free point of damage in, and then you use your 2 mana on something else, maybe playing your own 2-drop, right? So in that sense, Frilled Sandwalla gives you a lot of flexibility, and it's just really powerful, right? What other 1 mana creature can turn into 3 points of damage? Yeah. Alright, so that is our take on Blue Green Aggro. I know that Tegan has continued to play this deck. I think it's a really good deck. It's got the principles of the format down. As far as what I think are the principles of the format, just trying to play a low curve and make sure that you're spending your mana. Playing 2 colors does open up the opportunity for color screw, so the deck might want to play some Woodland Streams. However, I do want to emphasize that because this deck is a tempo deck, it's a very, very high cost to have your lands come into play tapped. So if you do play Woodland Stream, you might want to only play 2 of them. Oh, I only have 1 of this version. You might want to play 2 of them, and then just cut 2 lands there. Alright, so that is one possibility. Make the deck a little more consistent on casting your spells, but the speed at which you're able to cast your spells will be less, which is very relevant. So it's a real cost to play a 2-color deck when it comes to consistency. But once again, congratulations to Tegan. She did a great job and came up with a really unique deck. Stay tuned throughout the week. We're going to be looking more closely at Kyle's tournament-winning deck and Troy's third-place deck. Again, using our guiding principles of just try to play the cheapest creatures that you can and support them. Alright, thanks for stopping by. Hit that like button if you like this content. Hit that subscribe button if you want to stay up to date on Standard Pauper. And once again, please consider becoming a Patreon subscriber. All of the proceeds go towards making this project possible. So, thank you very much, and I will catch you later. Peace.